That's who we love and that's who we serve. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to InnervisionFM.com. I'm Alan Colvin, got Johnnie J in the house, and you have joined the InnervisionFM universe. Today is December 7th, 2022. On this day, 1941, December 7th, Pearl Harbor was bombed by the Japanese. We want to take time and just kind of give a moment of silence and remembrance for this harsh day. We did some things to the Japanese that we're sorry for, and they are now allies to the United States of America.
Hi everybody, this is the Godfather James Brown. I'll check it. This business is on. My man is on. Check him out. This is the Godfather James Brown saying stay with it and hear it. Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, it is the 7th of December, and it is that the D-Day.
And, yeah, it is, man. You know, it's funny because I see oftentimes on Facebook and some other platforms, days of remembrance like this, and I see nothing on today's news feeds anywhere about December 7th and what transpired on that day. It's kind of strange because I've always been taught that if you refuse to remember your history, you are doomed to repeat it if you forget it. So, let's not forget those that have been lost on both sides of the war. We were embroiled in World War II pretty much directly after December 7th took place in 1941. And we entered the World War II theater pretty much directly after that.
Yeah. Yep. This is true. And our topic is like, let's see. I'm going to see, go back up here.
Should North Carolina criminalize shoplifting? Should they,
prosecuted? Yeah.
Yeah. Should they prosecute shoplifters? I mean, it's awful heavy to lift a shop. And so some people take offense to that, and I don't take offense because fences are also pretty heavy. I'm not a comedian, guys. I'm definitely not a comedian.
But speaking of lifting fences, okay, they had a blackout for the last 3 days because somebody lifted the fence, went into their power source, and decided to shoot out the power sources and the transformers, which left that part of the state with weather that was like in the 30s, which in North Carolina, I guess that's pretty cold for them. And it's kind of cold other places too for the last 4 days. So, and I found out that on the internet, they show you step by step how to do this. And they said the other factor has to be there. You have to have the motivation to go and do this. All right.
So there should never be any reason to sabotage our power grid.
Yes.
It's weak enough.
Yes. And I wonder, why didn't they have cameras in there? So if someone was to breach that, we would have video footage, or do we think that we're so, what does that say? What is it when young people, they send young people to war because they think they're invincible? We think we're so invincible that this could never happen. Also, the FBI has been looking into and been expressing that this system can be hacked into by other people as well. So there's a lot of things happening in North Carolina, but it's not only happening in North Carolina, it's happening all over. But I just wanted to focus in on North Carolina since those two things have been happening there in North Carolina.
So that's one of the main topics. An 83-year-old gentleman decided to intervene when he saw a shoplifter taking some merchandise that wasn't his. Typically, over the course of the last couple of years, we've seen folks that as long as they shoplift under $1,000 or something crazy stupid like that, they tend to get away with it. I was always led to believe, and I was grown up to understand, that you shoplift a candy bar, you're going to get in trouble. So
yes,
taking stuff that is not yours is never a good proposition. I don't care what side of the fence you're on. Whether you're a Bible believing Christian that subscribes to the idea that he who steals should steal no more, that you should work with your hands and do an honest day's work. That kind of thing is super important. I will say this from a blind person's standpoint, where there's a 66 to 90% unemployment rate within the blind community. Just because we're unemployed does not give us the right to go out there and just take what we want and appropriate it like it's ours.
Right. And I got to tell the story about my sister. This happened back when I was about, I think, 9 years old. And we went into a store. My sister's 2 years older than me. And I felt like this piece of candy. So I just picked up, put it in my pocket. And then when we got out the side of the store, I said, "Oh, look what I got." And my sister, she says, "Here, I'm feeling sorry for you," which I didn't know she was feeling sorry for me in the first place, that, that the doctors had blinded me and stuff like that. And you steal from the store. And then that, at the age of 9, I said, "Wow, I probably shouldn't have did that." But it was like her pointing that out to me, that, hey, though you're blind and people are not looking at you, it doesn't give you like a reason to take this. I think it was like Skittles, some kind of stupid candy, and we could have easily paid for it, whatever. And so that stuck with me all these years. That, hey, unlike the politicians that are in power now, which through our taxes they steal from us, and then they steal from Paul to give to Mary. The government, I guess people are looking at, well, the government can steal from us. Why can't we just break and grab? I guess that's what they call it nowadays. You break a glass window, and then you grab whatever is in that glass window, and you run out, and then you have organized people that did this. But this was a young man and they have it on videotape. He's stealing these some kind of things that go into wash machines or washers or something like that. And they value about maybe $175. And this old man just put his arms up saying, "Hey," and this guy is, he's doing his job. He's one of those people that stand at the front door and say, "Hey, welcome to Ross. Hey, welcome to King Supers." And he's just saying, "Hey, that's not right." And this guy pushes him down. And then the 83-year-old man ends up dying a few days. And him and his wife, they want to retire and go visit their grandchild. And now, he won't be able to see his, I guess, one of his newly born grandchild. And just because of this disrespectful young person who's on video, and I guess they put up an award to say, if you have any information about this person, but then once they catch him, what are they gonna do? Say, well, it's a misdemeanor, slap him on the hand, even though what he did led to someone dying. What are they gonna do to make this a consequence, to send out a message to the other shoplifters? And now Walmart is having to close in certain areas. And these communities, poor communities that always complain about there's no jobs in our community, there's none of this, you make it that way by disrespecting the big box businesses and even the smaller businesses that come into your community. When you go in there and you steal from that store owner, thinking selfishly, well, his insurance will pay for it. No, eventually they'll say, "The hell with this. I'm leaving this way." And that's what happened in the place where George Floyd was put down in that state, and they started looting. The businesses just left. So, "Hey, you don't want any jobs here? You don't want a supermarket here? See ya. Don't want to be ya." So
it's interesting. Yeah, the outsourcing of the jobs, which take place mom and pop stores as well as big box corporations do want to move, as does everybody, to a safer area so that they can conduct their business and so they could have a good livelihood. And I suspect that's everywhere. I mean, whether you're a citizen or whether you're a business owner who happens to be a citizen of this country, we all want rule of law and order. We all want safety, and we all want security.
Right.
And the only way to get that is through a hierarchy of respect. We have to respect our elders first off and foremost. We have to respect our family members and those over authority, in our lives, whether it be clergy or whether it be the law enforcement arm of our federal government or state, local governments. And this kind of thing, it is interesting because we can all get this sort of entitlement mentality where we could think that, say, the government is doing a certain thing and we don't like that, and so we're justified in doing a certain thing. I don't know where the answer is. I do know that we need to take our
I know what the answer is. Prosecute.
That's right. Follow the rule of law.
Yeah, follow the rule of law, prosecute. I heard a story from Tucker Carlson last night. I think it was either Waterworld or Tucker Carlson, where in Philadelphia, this owner, he owns a store. People were going in, and it's a gas station with a convenience store, and people were getting robbed at the gas pump. People were standing outside his store, drug dealers and whatever. And he said, "Hey, you can't do that in front of my stores." So they vandalized his car. So he hired this security team armed with ARs. And that is the most safest place to get your gas in Philadelphia, because these guys says, we have the authority not only to stop you, but to arrest you. And if you pull out your gun, we're going to pull out our ARs, and we're going to end the situation.
Now, that is interesting. That's why the Second Amendment is under such egregious attack. An armed society, it has been said anyway, that it's been said that armed society is a polite society. You don't know who's packing, so you're going to be nice to everybody. Being a blind guy, I happen to subscribe to that type of viewpoint. I'll put myself out there. Certainly if you're armed, you're going to be a member of the protectorate. If you're not armed, like myself, who is blind and can't use a gun, or at least not safely, I'm always going to be unarmed. I'm always going to be polite, and I'm always going to be beholden to those who have a weapon to be able to protect and to serve. That means I support the thin blue line, and that means that I support the mechanisms that are set in place to provide for us the law and order and security that we require as a nation. And so that's what I'm all about, is the rule of law and order.
Yeah, and I want to remind people, if we should shut out again at 19 after, I have my hand on the button so I can get back on through my phone.
Okay, I'll leave it open.
So at 20 after or 19 after, if they close us down again, I do have my finger on my phone so I can go through Zoom and get back on that way. It's not allegedly the FBI, but it is technology, whatever. And hey, you guys, when you see this, share this show. Also, send us a donation. We don't know if we made anything through what's that thing called? Colorado Give Day yesterday, because after sending out 5,000 plus emails, haven't had a response yet. So we'll see if that is even a process. So if you haven't had a chance to give, paypal.me/InnervisionDenver, that's paypal.me/InnervisionDenver to support us, because it does cost a bit to do this, and we want to eventually get our station on iHeart, and that's like a monthly charge of like close to $500 a month as well.
Wow.
So
wow.
And I want to be able to hire more staff to do what we do, and just so I can be even more focused on just this and not, other types of jobs. So I can, because this is, to me, is not a hobby. This is my life. I love radio and I love broadcasting, and God has given me a gift to know number one songs. And so on my station, I pick out songs that I feel, hey, this is songs that will touch people in a special way. So anyway,
I got to say this, Johnny. I understand that this is a hard time for people. It's a Christmas or the holiday season. There's a lot of money out there that has to go for other things like gifts. So if gift giving is all that you can do this year, visit Amazon.com through Amazon Smile. We'll get 5% back. So, any of the big ticket items that you feel like you need to purchase, space heaters, televisions, things like that. If you're going to purchase them anyway, why not allow for 5% to go to your favorite charity? And that is InnervisionFM.com through InnervisionRecords.org.
And if like we have 1,700 subscribers, if all of you just donated $10, boom, that's $10. That's $10 times 1,000. I mean, that will make a dent. So it doesn't have to be a lot, but if everybody contributes, hey, it works. And if you want to find that link, going to Amazon Smile, you can go to InnervisionFM.com. That's InnervisionFM.com. And I took out the Twitter since they have taken down my Twitter account, and I put up Rumble. So it's rumble.com/InnervisionFM. So you can find us. We put that up there. And then, of course, we're now on LinkedIn, and it's under my personal page, Johnny Johnson, which when I started, I didn't know that you could put either a personal or business page. So I started it as a personal one when I started this, 10 years ago, LinkedIn. So, but that's where you can see the live show as well. So we got two new live entities that we're broadcasting through. So, okay.
Put out there that we're on TuneIn. Is that still in the works, or is that done?
Yes, we are on TuneIn. It's KINV-DB Innervision FM. So KINV-DB Innervision FM. So you can find us on TuneIn Radio as well. So so that's kicking serious butt. And I want to, like when you're playing the cards of poker, I'm going to have an interesting meeting next Tuesday, which could take us into the next 7 years. But I'm going to talk about it until the ink is dried on the paper.
That's absolutely right, folks. So when you support InnervisionFM.com through PayPal assistance with Amazon Smile, whether you like, share, subscribe our videos, leave comments on them on whatever platform you're watching, these things are going to a good cause because we're supporting grassroots musicians, whether they be physically disabled or financially challenged or both. And we here at InnerVision FM, we like to also promote the idea that we as Americans are all involved in our destiny, our self-governance, as it were. This is a political experiment that has been in existence for almost 250 years. And the idea being that we, through local, through state, and through federal means, peaceably and peaceably get involved in any possible way that we can, whether that's running for elected office like Johnnie J has done with House District number 5, or whether it's just being in an ancillary supportive position to help folks out. Your input, your expertise, your heart, and all of these types of things, they matter. So don't ever let anybody discourage you and say, well, your side didn't win. your side didn't make it. So just give up. Democrat math is in full swing. We just need to use the same tools that they are using if we have any hope of righting the ship, which is the United States of America, and returning back to constitutional rule.
Yes, definitely. And speaking of returning back to the constitutional freedom of speech, this Twitter thing, Elon Musk he fired a guy yesterday who he had I think his name is James Baker, who
James Baker. He was an FBI guy, I guess. Is that the same James Baker?
Yeah, and he was redacting parts of it that implemented him as part of the covering up what he did to help push his candidate Biden forward, and concealed the Hunter Biden things and some other things that he was doing with Twitter. So whenever the government colludes with social media or information, the news media, which I think they have been, to submerge information from the American public, sometimes they say, well, it's for your own protection, because if you knew this, it would just tear up your whole world. And like, well, let me be the decision, make the decision. You're not my daddy, you're not my mother. So I would prefer the government to stay out of my business and stop telling me what I should and should not know.
That brings me to an interesting thing today. I was on Facebook checking some stuff out, and a friend of mine that I follow posted a simple thing. It says all humans have 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 sexes, male and female. That actually got fact checked by Facebook.
Okay.
Quite interesting, because they're like, yes, scientifically people, have, the idea that there are 2 genders, and, it works in the animal kingdom, but no, humans are different. We can be multiple genders. And I just looked at this and I said, wait a minute. I mean, even scientifically, it's proven that XX chromosomes, XY chromosomes make up male and female. And it works in the animal community. What makes it different in the human genome to make it to where that immutable fact that there is male and there's female? Okay, that's fine. If you want to be gender fluid, what you do is what you do in your bedroom. But
right.
My gosh, people, I mean, we have to stand up to these fact checkers, and we have to just say, no, this is not the case.
Right.
There are 2 sexes. There are male and there's female, and that is it. Now, whether that gets us banned or whether that gets us whatever, truth is truth.
This is true. And so it looks like they have been doing this for quite some time, and because we have not really held our elected officials accountable, and we keep electing these same people that we're our worst enemies, because we have allowed this to happen. And maybe they're nice people. They come back every 4 years or every 6 years or every 2 years for your vote, and they're nice then, and then they just disappear. And then because we have we're living our life, we don't realize that, wait a minute, if we had a girlfriend or husband who only came around every 2 years, a girlfriend or husband who only came around every 4 years, we would start saying, wait a minute, well, are you here for me? Or are you here just what you can get from me every 2 years, 4 years, 6 years?
That's absolutely right. And not only that, if we had a boyfriend or girlfriend that were all concerned about how we spent our money or the clothes that we wore if we went out to go and do our things, if we had a boyfriend or girlfriend that were wanting to keep surveillance tags on all of us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that would be, well, I'll just leave that right there. What would that be? Leave a comment down below.
Yeah, definitely. We want to have your opinions.
I mean, because I'll tell you, if I had a girlfriend that wanted to keep 24 hours a day, 7 days a week tab on me and told me what clothes were permissible for me to wear outside my home, I wouldn't have that girlfriend long. I will just say.
Dismiss.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you are now dismissed. You can go find somebody else to control. And that's what the government has been doing. And they started, they really ramped it up in 9/11, because I have a feeling that the government has something to do with that, because the group that held us over the oil barrel was friends with Bush.
Yeah.
And if you notice, they don't talk about it now, but they got that family out of the country. That they shut down all airlines, but they got those guys on the airlines and they flew them out. Then after that, then they said, okay, now you see, America, we got attacked. We got 3,000 people that were killed in this attack. Now give up your freedom, and the government will protect you.
That's right.
When President Johnson did that in 1965, told Black women, if you get that man out of your house, we're gonna give you a check. And if you have babies, just as long as you keep that man out of the house, the government will be your daddy. Then it flipped. It used to be 70%, 75% were married, husband and wife in the Black community. And that literally destroyed it because of these weak women saying, okay, government, you could be our daddy. And we'll take the check from you, and we'll have babies, and we'll keep that man out of our household. Now spin it forward to 9/11. Oh, protect us, government, protect us. We saw these airplanes fly into the building. Protect us from these evil weapons of destruction, which was a lie. And we falsely went for it. And now we have what we have, where grandmas take off their shoes because of freedom. You get x-rayed from the inside out. And just because of this incident. And some of these guys who are doing this surveillance, still things are getting through. So whenever the government takes a hold of something, it becomes more expensive. And sometimes a better job can be done by a private company competing with another private company, because if you get something wrong and you're a private company, then you can end that contract and get another company. With the government, they just say, well, even though we're not efficient, we'll just keep doing it. And well, if it happens, it happens. But we're not at fault. So
a perfect example of that is kind of what I'm going through with and I don't want to knock too many folks here, but there's a division called the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation. If you're blind, typically it's the one-stop shop that you go to try to help gain employment. Because there's a 66 to 90% unemployment rate, because we can't even get an accurate figure as to how many blind people of work age between 16 and 65 exist in the United States of America, it gets a little bit hard to deal. But, you keep doing what you keep doing because that's all you know. And so I went ahead and I signed up with vocational rehabilitation, and they've got a new thing where they put a middle person in the mix. So this person is a job development coach. This person is a benefits planner. This person is a all-in-one stop shop to help you to get a job. Well, I'm doing market research, which takes me out of being able to do the job seeking that I require to do, because this person has to put something in a report. Now, I understand this, and I'm willing to, take time out of my job seeking to go ahead and perform some market research and get this job done. The reason why I bring this up, folks, is Johnnie J is trying to break the mold. He started a school wherein blind podcasters, broadcasters, otherwise physically disabled folks can break into the industry of media, whether it's, music, whether it's video production, other things like this. And we're just trying to help our brothers and our sisters out of this unemployment. If there were a 66 to 90% unemployment rate within any other demographic, there would be
Yeah,
but
there will
because
be problems.
fine, folks, we just kind of we get what we get, and we don't throw a fit, and we just have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And I say no more. I say let's get involved, folks, at the local level, at the state level, at the federal level, and let's do this peaceably. And first off, though, let's all unite.
Yeah.
Let's be, good family members to our families. Let's be good friends to our friends.
And let's put it in perspective too. Okay, so to give you enough where if you're working a part-time job, like you're working like in Colorado, it's $12.59. You're getting paid part-time wages. So then they make it available where you can get into either into a Section 8 apartment living. You could probably never own a house working a part-time house or part-time job. And so they give you good medical, right? So you don't have to spend any of that money. Or not much of that money taking care of yourself medically. And so, but if you start to earn money, that cuts away all those benefits. And so you're stuck in that position where if you don't comply with the government and the little that they give you, it's like a little bread from the crumbs that they give you, then, and you say, hey, I want to advance myself. They say, well, okay, you're going to advance yourself this much before we start cutting into this to make it difficult to live at even the lowest of level of the Section 8, where they only charge you 30% of your income, which when you get into the real world, you try to, if you're making like $100,000 a year, you want to only spend 30% on that on your income as well. So they try to make it kind of convenient, but yet they don't put in any incentives so you can get off the government dole. Oh, no, they have one incentive. If you want to become a restaurant owner for the federal government, you can become a vendor.
Yeah.
But not everybody wants to work at a restaurant.
Well, not only that, you don't own the space either. So that's one thing that's very important to understand. You're still working for the federal government, whether it be in a subsidized cafeteria, but you don't own the restaurant. You don't own the space. And so consequently, a large amount of that overhead that you make has to go back into the business anyway. But a decent portion of the overhead has to go right back to the federal government. So it's a really good gig if you're the federal government.
Let me add one more thing. And it can't not lead to generational wealth because you cannot pass that down to any members of your family.
That's
so
absolutely
it stays in the family of the government, and you, after you die, get nothing.
That's right. That's right.
The family gets nothing. That's it.
That's right. So, this is why we do what we do, folks. We don't just do this for our health and our any of that. We want to make sure that all ships rise upon the tides of success. So if you want to learn more about Johnnie J's project, where do they do that? Do they just go through the website directly?
Yeah, you can either go to InnervisionNonprofit.org. That's another website we have, and it tells you about the classes and so forth. Or you can go to InnervisionRecords.org, and it gives you more information as well. And, like I said, share this, subscribe to our show. We seem to be stuck at that 1,700 mark right there.
Well, it's funny, Johnny, because, me hand feeding my dog got more views than you got on YouTube. I posted a video on Facebook of me just hand feeding my dog. It got 46 views. Now, I'm not complaining. I'm not crying. But folks, if this is something that you enjoy and you want to become involved with, do it up. Do it at the local level. Do it at the state level. Do it at the federal level.
Let me throw this in there. TikTok, who is owned behind the scenes by the Chinese, what they're trying to do with TikTok is dumb down the people. They want to only feed you what they want. They don't want to get all your information, and then they have that information for life. So as you get older, they have your information. And so now they control what you see. You won't see the protests over there in China, the people under lockdown deciding, hey, 3 years enough. And they won't, and if you say something bad about the regime, they limit your views of that, because they're like little kids. Oh, we don't say nothing bad about little Johnny, and I'm going to protect little Johnny by putting him in a safe room. So this regime, even though they act like they're big, bad, and tough, they're like little snowflakes who can't handle anything negative said about them, but they want to be able to be in control of what's negative that's said about you, but not about them. So, people, if your children are on that TikTok, I suggest that you get them off that TikTok and erase all that information. You probably can't erase it now. They got it now if they're on TikTok. But people, you're going to have to start watching your kids and getting them away from all of this, looking into the phone and not being able to look. I was once in a situation where everybody was looking at the phone. I was talking and everybody's looking at the phone, I'm thinking like, hey, we're having a conversation here. What's all this, everybody paying attention to their phone? And I know there's one family that at night, 7 o'clock at night, everybody's phone is put on this charger thing, and nobody is, unless it's emergency, nobody calls after 7 o'clock. It's now family time. I like that. It's
like that a lot. I like that a lot.
So it's like, so parents, you got a place. You're just not sperm donors. You got a place to play in the development of your child, and take it as a responsibility. Because I know the government, because they're getting this crazy money, they convince women, you're better than a man, you're stronger than a man, so you should be out there working like a man. So now you can't afford to live like you should. Back in the day when my dad was working and we lived off of one paycheck. Now you can't afford to live off of one paycheck. Mother, dad has to be there. And now the government says, give us your kids. Let us indoctrinate them from cradle to grave.
That's right.
And it's all a plan of this government, this unigovernment, Republicans and Rhino Republicans and Democrats, to make the government your daddy. And I don't know about you. I don't want a government who doesn't care about me, just sees me as a number, sees me as a minion. I don't want them to be in control of my life. So I'm doing everything to get out of their grip, as it were.
So, folks, we're in Ephesians chapter, was it 5?
I think chapter 4.
Chapter 4. The reason why I bring up Ephesians is we're a Bible-believing
program,
station, I guess you might say. We're a Bible-believing station. We used to be a Bible-believing nation, but we've kind of gotten a little bit away from that. But we're in Ephesians chapter 4. We're leading up to the armor of God, which is in chapter 6 of Ephesians. But before we got there, we're looking at, the idea of, if you've made a living on stealing, whether that's defrauding your fellow human being out of their money, whether that's using some different mathematical and algorithmic techniques to abscond with certain things that interfere with our elections, if you know what I mean. Don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole. If you're a member of that party, I encourage you today, there's a better way, and that way is Jesus Christ, and that way does not involve stealing. So if you're a stealer, don't steal anymore. Just give it up.
Yes. And that could be found in Ephesians 28.
Ephesians 4:28.
4:28, yes. Yeah, it says, if you stole before, do something with your hands where you can bring something to the group, rather than stealing. And I just like that, because that fits so well in today. So the people out there that are smashing and grabbing, the shoplifters out there who think that somehow the store owes you something, somehow government owes you something. Nobody owes you anything. Get off your butt, work hard for it, and get it yourself. Nobody owes you anything. And I know your mama didn't tell you that. Your daddy, who's in prison, couldn't tell you that because he was probably doing the same thing. But let's just say Uncle Johnny is telling you that.
That's right, Uncle Johnny. Listen to Uncle Johnny, folks. And you can catch these kind of broadcasts every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 9 to 9:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. That's 1600 Universal Standard Time, at least currently. Yeah, and so you got to listen to Uncle Johnny here, folks. Just listen to Uncle Johnny. Don't steal anymore.
Yes. And you could find some productive things to do with your hands. Back in the 50s, a lot of the Black people, they were learning how to do a trade of building houses. And so now the Hispanics have taken over that.
Right.
We have to get back to teaching trades in schools. Not everybody is meant to go to a university, Harvard, or whatever these indoctrinational places are. Some of us are meant to work with our hands. And
well, this is why I brought up that school that you just started, man. I mean, it's important. If any folks know of any disabled individuals that they're sitting around like I am, being one of the 66 to 90% of the unemployed, there's a way out, folks. You can check it out through, nonprofit.
InnervisionNonprofit.org. And we need donors. If you can help, like sponsor a student, it'd be like sponsoring a student for like $1,600, then that would sponsor like a month worth of classes for one student. And so if you could sponsor 1 month, that would be fantastic. If you could do 500, half of that. If you could do 250, that'll be a portion of that. But I can, send you the numbers, show you the spreadsheet, and we can help really put Colorado on the map and put a formula that works. We're not recreating the wheel, but we know the formula to get blind people paid at a very good price and put them in a position where they can generate their own funds. So hey. So anyway, hey, we better go because I got a award meeting to go to today, a brunch where they're going to feed us and pat us on the back and whatever, all that kind of stuff. So so that's going to be happening. So hey, we'll see you guys next week. Next week we're only going to do 2 shows, and then we're going to go on vacation for a couple of weeks. We may drop in maybe periodically, but for the most part we're going to be on vacation. So hey, like, share, subscribe, and share your comments at the bottom. And LinkedIn, Rumble. Hey, we love you, baby.
God bless everybody.
All right. Yeah.